I'm saying it because you don't want a country where it's white men against everybody else. And that really was the dream of the Democratic Party. That's the politics they look to create. And what you're seeing is instead NPR listeners versus everyone else. Right? So you now have a coalition that's only people that like Republicans versus the whole country. And therefore, that's what the
Thank you so much. You know, I think that what we may be seeing here is the summer of love and years. You remember that comment from the Seattle mayor about the 2020 strife and violence that we saw. They should hope for the summer of love. She's not complaining about it. There was obviously a lot of skepticism about that. I think we're pretty truly saying that this association with Black Lives Matter movement maybe not hurt Democrats as much and that sort of thing. I think now you're seeing all these different suburban
Ron DeSantis. El gobernador Ron DeSantis es valiente, dedicado y bien inteligente.
Yo diría que, sobre todo, luchador. Sabemos muy bien la importancia de lo que es un gobierno que está llevado a cabo de una persona que sí sabe liderar.
Debido a Ron DeSantis, los jóvenes tenemos más oportunidades.
Si nosotros queremos vivir en libertad, sin la inmiscusión del gobierno en nuestras vidas, para tener una Florida libre, tenemos que reelegir a Ron DeSantis.
DeSantis 2022, manteniendo la Florida libre.
When the pandemic happened, we told our staff, no one's going hungry, no one's going to miss rent. Everyone pivoted. They adjusted their business model to stay open. But we were given that ability because of Ron DeSantis. He was allowing us as business owners to make those decisions. Here in South Florida, people view Ron DeSantis as a hero, because without these small businesses, communities don't thrive. I'm voting for Governor DeSantis because he's got a spine and his policies make sense. Ron DeSantis 2022, keeping Florida free.
Governor DeSantis has made Florida a stronger, safer, freer place to live. He didn't shut us down. He lifted us up, saving jobs, cutting taxes, providing families relief. Students are receiving first-class education, and parents' rights are protected. First responders have the support they need to keep us safe, and our natural resources are being preserved with record funding. Governor DeSantis has delivered for Florida, and he's only just begun.
It takes a fighter to know a fighter. And Ron DeSantis, he's the real thing. He fights for you. He fights for our kids. He fights for our freedom. That's Governor DeSantis, and he doesn't tap out. He protects our livelihood and gives kids a chance. He's doing the right thing in Florida, and we're on to way greater things. We need Governor Ron DeSantis fighting for Florida to keep us free.
You've heard this story before, but I tell it because it's important to understand. I was raised by parents that worked in hotels like this. Well, not like this. They had slot machines and stuff like that, but in Las Vegas. My dad was a banquet bartender in rooms like this. My mother was a maid. She worked at Kmart. They worked hard. And you know, their story is really very typical of the American story. Frankly, in any other nation in the world, I would probably be doing the same job, and there's nothing wrong with those jobs. But what makes this nation so special and unique is that it is the one place on earth where people who work those jobs, like the people working here now, can go on to do other things. But even if they can't, the one thing they can always do is give their kids the chance to do all the things they didn't. And I think this is an American story that people everywhere in the country would understand.
Marco Rubio, a big winner over Val Demings in Florida, a huge win in some counties that really had never won before.
15% win for Marco Rubio, who goes on to another term as the Florida senator. Also, we have Steve Harrigan, who's at DeSantis headquarters. Huge night for them as well. Let's check in with him in Tampa. Hi, Steve.
Martha, this place just erupted about an hour ago when the news came out that we were calling it for Ron DeSantis. If there's one star of this election so far, it's got to be Florida's governor. 4 years ago, just think how far he's come. Squeaking out a victory in the governor's race by less than 1% only after a recount. Now tonight, this is...
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congressman Byron Donalds.
So, Florida, y'all, I didn't even get to the speech. All I said was, so, Florida. You know, I've been through a lot of states the last 2 years. I've been telling them in Arizona, in Nevada, in Massachusetts, in Illinois, in North Carolina, in Georgia, in Texas, that a red wave was coming to the United States of America. And that red wave has started right here in the great state of Florida. We have 4 new Republican members going to the House of Representatives tonight. We have our new colleague and your former Secretary of State, Laura Lee, a veteran of our military in Corey Mills, a former servant of our great state in Tallahassee, Aaron Bean, and a personal favorite of mine, and y'all, she's a rock star. You're going to hear from her soon, Miss Anna Paulina Luna herself. Did y'all just see what Marco Rubio did? I mean, Florida, 1 million votes, Florida? Woo! Woo! Wilson Simpson's going to be our agriculture commissioner. We have re-elected the very best attorney general in these United States, Ashley Moody. But the pièce de résistance, the top of the food chain, is a guy who 4 years ago was newly elected Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He then became America's Governor Ron DeSantis. And he is now being crowned by me. And wait, this is all coming up the top of my head, y'all. He's now being crowned by me as the man who knows how to send Charlie Crist into permanent retirement, Ron DeSantis. None of this could have been possible without all of you. You are the ones who have knocked on the doors. You are the ones who made the calls. You are the one who texted your friends. You are the one, especially some of y'all down front, you're the ones who wrote the checks. We know who you are. We see you. We thank you. But more than that, you have told the rest of the country we are sick and tired of Democrat leadership, and in Florida, we don't want to see it anymore. You told them loud and clear they can keep their lockdowns in New York. You told them loud and clear that they can keep kids out of classroom in Chicago. But when you come across I-75 or I-95, if you land in Miami International or in Jacksonville International, you are now in the land of the free, which is the great state of Florida. Tonight I have also a special joy, because in a couple days we have to go back to Washington, D.C., and we get to look at the rostrum in the House of Representatives, and we get to tell Nancy Pelosi, you are now fired by the American people. I guess they like that one. I guess they like that one. You know, Chuck Schumer, forgive Chuck Schumer, but nobody listens to him anyway. But we're well on our way to taking back the United States Senate. But man, Florida, I gotta tell you, the one thing I'm really happy about tonight is I didn't have to wait for Miami-Dade to report in. I mean, the people in Miami-Dade said, Ron DeSantis kept our businesses open and he's to be rewarded. And so, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. And I see some children running around the room tonight. They've been getting all kind of snacks and everything. But I'm going to tell you right now, in a couple of moments, and trust me, some very, very few moments. Y'all shh. Tell the people by the bar to shh. In a few moments, you are going to do the thing that the rest of America has been waiting to hear. You are going to cheer for the newly re-elected, Democrat-beaten, freedom standing for America's governor, Ron DeSantis. God bless you, Florida. God bless America.
So, Trey Gowdy with the answer, by the way. What's that? Trey Gowdy had the answer.
The artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, but it's not time to vote yet, so stand by. Okay, let me take this off. Let me see what county this is. This is Davie County, all right? No votes are in. Well, what happened 2 years ago at the presidential level? Well, Trump was a big winner in that county. Picked up about 14,000 votes total raw. Here you are, 11,005. They'll do the math for me. So that's out there. Let me come back out here a moment. And let me do this. Oh, shoot. It did not work. Here, guys, let me reload it for you.
While you're reloading, Dana has a comment.
Well, one thing that's pretty interesting about North Carolina, when Bill and I had an opportunity to talk to Ted Budd when he was in town, so he really comes across, he's a farmer. And he's kind of an understated guy, and his ads were apparently not that exciting. And Beasley she's a well-respected judge in North Carolina. One thing that's really happened in these cities, though, is the amount of people who have moved into Raleigh and Charlotte and that whole area there. That has changed that population a lot. We were talking about how many people left New England or New York for Florida and how that might have changed some things there. North Carolina, it might not happen this time around, but those pivot counties that Kellyanne mentioned in those urban areas are ones to watch in North Carolina.
Carl?
Look, it's not only where the votes are, but just remember, again, this is our blue wave, red wave, blue mirage, red mirage. The votes that you're seeing here are predominantly, virtually all of the early vote is going to be the mail-in ballots because they start processing them when they come in. They announce them early. We've seen this before. Tom Tillis was behind in his races, won by, a small number of, several tens of thousands of votes because the late vote to come in is the vote that's being cast on Election Day.
Just to recue, Florida was a hold. Ohio, we're watching very closely. That's a Republican defense, Britt. Pennsylvania, also a Republican seat they're trying to hold on to, as is North Carolina.
Yeah, and I have now for you the political comment of the evening.
Okay.
And maybe of all time. Someone is saying over on MSNBC that the GOP's dominance in Florida is all about gerrymandering.
Well, that's a pretty good trick. So that's a story they will tell themselves to
exactly. Incidentally, on North Carolina, just a few moments ago, the lead was 53,000. It's now down to 32,000. So as Election Day votes get reported here, we're likely to see this.
And it's a race that we didn't give a lot of attention to.
Right.
We did not give a lot of attention to
nationwide.
nationwide.
The committees and some of the committees and super PACs.
Well, except on the Republican side, they did. I mean, again, the Senate Leadership Fund, American Crossroads, that I helped fund, put like 30-some odd
How to get that in there. Okay, stand by.
Disclosure.
It is 9 o'clock in the East, and polls have just closed in 15 more states. We're going to begin here in battleground state of Arizona, where Democratic Senator Mark Kelly and Republican venture capitalist Blake Masters are in a very tight race.
Over to Wisconsin, incumbent Republican Senator Ron Johnson, Democratic Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes also locked in a very close race in Wisconsin.
In Colorado, also too early to call here, but incumbent Democratic Senator Michael Bennet leads at this point. Republicans believe that Joe O'Dea, who is a local business owner, an independent type Republican, has a good chance to take that seat. We're watching. We can project that in Iowa, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley has a solid lead in his Senate race. If Grassley wins re-election, he would become the longest-serving sitting senator. In New York, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will win his 5th term in office. No surprise there. Meanwhile, in Kansas, we're projecting that GOP Senator Jerry Moran will win his 3rd term in office. North Dakota, we can project that Republican Senator John Hoeven has the lead, but we do not have enough data yet to make that call. And Republican Senator John Thune has won re-election in South Dakota. As we take a look at a balance of power in the Senate, we are ticking down here. Democrats with 39, Republicans with 34. Again, the majority 51. Republicans, again, holding those seats in Florida, and we're looking at Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, but they're looking to pick up seats a number of places throughout the country. We're going to see those numbers fill in, and then we're going to see White just that sits there for a really long time in the middle of the Senate. So let's take a look at this. In New York, this has become a really closely watched race because of the crime issue. In New York, the incumbent, Kathy Hochul, has a lead at this point against Lee Zeldin. I mean, there was a time not too long ago where nobody thought this was going to be even close, but he has really given her a run for her money. So we will see how this all goes, but that's where it stands at this point. In Arizona, another high-profile contest. It's too early to call the race between Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs and Republican Carrie Lake. Let's go to Michigan, where Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer has a slight lead. That race is too close to call. And in Wisconsin, the race between Governor Tony Evers and his opponent Tim Michels, the Republican, too early to call there. Just like in the Senate, another very tight race. Texas, our decision desk believes that Republican Governor Greg Abbott has a lead, but that one's also too early to call. In Kansas, Republican challenger Derek Schmidt and Democratic Governor Laura Kelly are locked in a very tight race. Democrats had a lot of hopes about Kansas. In Minnesota, the governor's race, Democratic incumbent Tim Walz has a lead against his Republican challenger, Scott Jensen. And in New Mexico, not enough data yet to call this race. This is a showdown between the Democratic incumbent, Michelle Lujan Grisham, and Republican candidate, Mark Ronchetti. And to the Rocky Mountains and in Colorado, incumbent Governor Jared Polis will defeat GOP candidate Heidi Ganahl. In South Dakota, not enough data to project the winner of the governor's race between incumbent Kristi Noem and Democratic challenger Jamie Smith, but Noem does lead at this hour. Let's go to Iowa, where we can project that Republican incumbent Kim Reynolds will return to the governor's mansion for a 2nd term. And in Nebraska, Republican Jim Pillen is in the lead. Again, too early to call. Finally, in Wyoming, where there are a lot of disgruntled people, apparently, according to our Fox News voter analysis, we're projecting that Republican Governor Mark Gordon will cruise through to another term where he beats Democratic candidate Teresa.
Together, we have made Florida the freest state in these United States. If they want to shut down businesses, you're damn right. I'm going to stand in the way. I'm going to stand with these folks here because they have a right to make a living, and I don't think government has a right to put these people out of work. The chance that I am going to back down from my commitment to students and back down from my commitment to parents' rights, the chances of that are zero.
Will they ever retire, Dr. Fauci?
If I had my druthers, you know, you take him and you chuck him across the Potomac. It's a fake narrative. I just disabused you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts.
I don't care what corporate media outlets say. I don't care what Hollywood says. I don't care what big corporations say. Here I stand. I'm not backing down.
We are going to carry this torch of freedom onward because our mission is very simple. We are keeping the state of Florida free. Thank you all. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Ron DeSantis.
looks at the White House. Yeah, he's fighting for the right to keep our state free. Free. Well, he's taking on the swamp and he's calling out Dr. Fauci. Fauci. He's the only one fighting for you and me. You and me. Yeah, we're free. Yeah, we're free.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, thank you so much. You know, over these past 4 years, we've seen major challenges for the people of our state, for the citizens of the United States, and above all, for the cause of freedom. We saw freedom in our very way of life and so many other jurisdictions in this country wither on the vine. Florida held the line. We chose facts over fear. We chose education over indoctrination. We chose law and order over rioting and disorder. Florida was a refuge of sanity when the world went mad. We stood as a citadel of freedom for people across this country and indeed across the world. We faced attacks. We took the hits. We weathered the storms, but we stood our ground. We did not back down. We had the conviction to guide us, and we had the courage to lead. We made promises. We made promises to the people of Florida, and we have delivered on those promises. And so today, after 4 years, the people have delivered their verdict. Freedom is here to stay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, thanks to the overwhelming support of the people of Florida, we not only won election, we have rewritten the political map. Thank you for honoring us with a win for the ages. I want to thank all of our campaign staff, from campaign manager Janera Peck down. This was the best run campaign in the history of Florida politics. I want to thank all of our wonderful volunteers who worked so hard to get out the vote. Your support means the world to Casey and I. God bless you and thank you. Now, it's a lot easier to run a good campaign when you got a great record to run on. And I would not have been able to see the level of accomplishments that we saw unless I had outstanding personnel working in the executive office of the governor, as well as heading state agencies. These folks worked hard to implement our agenda. They believed in our agenda, and the results have been historic. Thank you for your support and work. Thank you to Miami-Dade County. Thank you to Palm Beach County. Now, we're still tallying the votes, but it's clearly apparent that this election, we will have garnered a significant number of votes from people who may not have voted for me 4 years ago. And I just want to let you know, I am honored to have earned your trust and your support over these 4 years. And most important of all, thank you to the greatest First Lady in all 50 states, for being a great wife, giving unwavering support, being a tremendous mother to our 3 young children, and serving as an example for women throughout this state, especially going through the battle of cancer. She is remarkable. Now, today, is the culmination of the 2022 fall elections, but in reality, Americans have been voting for many years now. They've been voting with their feet, and the results of that behavior has been just as stark as our landslide victory today. States and cities governed by leftist politicians have seen crime skyrocket. They've seen their taxpayers abused. They've seen medical authoritarianism imposed, and they've seen American principles discarded. The woke agenda has caused millions of Americans to leave these jurisdictions for greener pastures. Now, this great exodus of Americans, for those folks, Florida, for so many of them, has served as the promised land. We have embraced freedom. We have maintained law and order. We have protected the rights of parents. We have respected our taxpayers, and we reject woke ideology. We fight the woke in the legislature. We fight the woke in the schools. We fight the woke in the corporations. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die. People have come here because our policies work. Leadership matters. We refuse to use polls and put our finger in the wind. Leaders don't follow, they lead. We set out a vision, we executed on that vision, and we produced historic results. And the people of this state have responded in record fashion. Now, while our country flounders due to failed leadership in Washington, Florida is on the right track. I believe the survival of the American experiment requires a revival of true American principles. Florida has proved that it can be done. We offer a ray of hope that better days still lie ahead. I am proud of our achievements in this state. I am honored by your support, and I look forward to the road ahead. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race in this first term, and I have kept the faith. We've accomplished more than anybody thought possible 4 years ago, but we've got so much more to do, and I have only begun to fight. God bless you all. Thank you very much. Thank you for a historic landslide victory.
Take it to the bank. He don't care what Brandon thinks at the White House. Yeah, he's fighting for the right to keep our state free. Free. Well, he's taking on the swamp and he's calling out Dr. Fauci. Fauci. He's the only one fighting for you and me. You and me. Yeah, we're free. Yeah, we're free. Down and sweet Florida. Our governor, he's red. Well, we ain't been locked down, we still have our freedom. We can still see our friends and family. Oh, our kids are in school and we can go to church on Sunday. And it's all because DeSantis knows how to lead. Down in sweet Florida, our governor, he's red, white, and blue. Yeah, down in sweet Florida, he's shooting us straight, telling us the truth. Come on now. Down in sweet, sweet, sweet Florida, our governor, he's red, white, and blue. Oh, down in sweet Florida, he's shooting us straight, telling us the truth. Yeah! Down in sweet Florida, where he's kicking it up, standing up and down in Florida. He's a military man with the courage to withstand him all. Yeah, we're free down in Florida. Yeah, we're free in Florida. Our governor, he's red, white, and blue. Oh, down in sweet Florida, he's shooting us straight, telling us the truth. Yeah, that's right. You can take it to the bank, he don't care what Brandon thinks at the White House. Yeah, he's fighting for the right to keep our state free. Free. Well, he's taking on the swamp and he's calling out Dr. Fauci. Fauci. He's the only one fighting for you and me. You and me. Yeah, we're free. Yeah, we're free. Down in sweet Florida, our governor, he's red, white, and blue. Oh, down in sweet Florida, he's shooting us straight, telling us the truth. Well, we ain't been locked down, we still have our freedom. We can still see our friends and family. Oh, our kids are in school and we can go to church on Sunday. And it's all because DeSantis knows how to lead.